in everything we do. I try to look at it as like we're just all human beings on this planet trying to survive and thrive. And the oxygen that I breathe, to me, that's a gift. You wake up in the morning, you breathe oxygen into your lungs, like that's a miracle within itself that you're breathing oxygen. Now we're able to even have this conversation. And if that is truly a gift, I don't want to take that gift lightly, and there's an urgency about me that comes from realizing that gift of oxygen, that gift of time, right? It's so very limited and I don't want to waste it.
This is Hourglass, the podcast for United Way of King County in Seattle. Coming up, a conversation with United Way board member and Seattle Seahawks legend Doug Baldwin Jr. We'll also hear from United Way President and CEO Gordon McHenry Jr. about our work during these challenging times. And we'll spotlight our free tax preparation campaign. I'm your host, Joe Burris. Thanks for tuning in. According to Yahoo Sports, the Seattle Seahawks are the most popular NFL team in 5 states: Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Montana, and Alaska. The Seahawks' popularity among the states trails that of only the Dallas Cowboys, the most popular team in 7 states, and the New England Patriots, the most popular in 6 states. The culmination of the Seahawks' popularity arguably came when the team won the 2014 Super Bowl. That team featured a cast of stars that became household names throughout the region. From the Legion of Boom defensive backfield to the punishing rushing attack led by Marshawn Beast Mode Lynch to sure-handed wide receivers like Golden Tate and Doug Baldwin Jr. Since his playing days have ended, Doug's popularity has arguably grown in this area, as he has become as well known for his commitment to community as he was for his Pro Bowl caliber play. Few professional athletes have embraced an area they didn't grow up in like Doug has the King County city of Renton, where he lived during his rookie year with the Seahawks. Doug is Renton's biggest fan, its seat at the table, its neighborhood resource, and its beacon of hope. Renton is where Doug founded the Family First Community Center, which opened in 2023. The center offers programs and services such as reading skills improvement classes, youth empowerment activities for girls and non-binary youngsters, a basketball camp, a Pathway to College Success series, gentle yoga, Spanish story time, a senior luncheon, and a physical rehabilitation clinic. The Family First Community Center is located in the Cascade-Benson area, where Doug once resided, and it's next door to Cascade Elementary School. The Family First Community Center's website says that 58% of Cascade Elementary students are eligible for free or reduced meals. Nearly a third of residents in the Benson Hill and Cascade areas live below the poverty line, and 20% of the population is 18 years or younger. Doug says that the center is designed to foster personal growth, promote wellness, and create a thriving, inclusive community where everyone feels valued and supported. The center is not far from Vault 89 Ventures, Baldwin's firm that is rooted in increasing health equity, wealth building, and education opportunities through investments. Vault 89 has partnered with Pioneer Human Services to offer the INVEST initiative. INVEST stands for Incarceration to New Ventures, Elevating Success Together, and it helps individuals involved in the criminal justice system develop the skills, mindset, and tools to become successful entrepreneurs. Vault 89 has also partnered with Safeway and Feeding Feasible Feasts to address food insecurity and eliminate waste by distributing surplus but perishable grocery items to communities. In 2018, Doug received the King County Martin Luther King Medal of Distinguished Service for his support for and work in communities. Doug served as United Way of King County's campaign chair in fiscal year 2021, and was the impetus for our community barbecue, which was held at Renton Memorial Stadium in 2022 and 2023. Doug led the idea to launch the barbecue to summon the area out of its COVID-19 pandemic hibernation. And we succeeded, with rides, games, activities, live entertainment, and scrumptious food. The inaugural barbecue drew more than 1,700 people, and in the following year, we welcomed more than 2,300 people. Following his stint as campaign chair, Doug joined United Way's board. Like other members of our board, Doug brings knowledge and insight from his field that helps bolster United Way's efforts to work side by side with communities to build an equitable future for everyone. Last year, Doug sat down with Hourglass as part of our series highlighting members of United Way's board, which comprises more than 36 people from corporate, nonprofit, education, media, and service fields. We asked Doug about such topics as providing resources and opportunities for the community, working with United Way, and applying the lessons he learned from his days with the Seahawks to his current work. Here's what Doug had to say.
Got really nothing to complain about. The community center's thriving. More so than anything, I should say the team and the community that's in the community center, they are thriving. And then also same with Vault. The teams are over there thriving, and the projects that we're leading, the work that we're able to do, we're really making an impact on the community, and I'm really grateful for that.
Okay, let's go here first. Family first. From the time that you opened it to now, what have been some of the additions you've made to it? What are some projects, programs, initiatives that you really got going? And then later on, what are you looking to do on the horizon? But for now, what are some things you have going on right now?
Yeah, so we're really just trying to stay as connected and grounded with the community as we possibly can. So there's, you can go out there and you look on the billboard, there's several different programs that we have going on that's really aimed at servicing and providing resources and opportunities for the community to really engage, not only with each other, but also allow them to have time and capacity to reflect on who they are as human beings and their role in the bigger picture of how we are trying to championing the well-being of our community. So there's a lot of things going on. I think today specifically, First Friday. So every First Friday we have a gathering of community. Folks come out, families come out. We treat them to food and fun activities. So it's really kind of like a small party, if you will. I'll say get together, but it's really like a small party. And so that's today. But really what I would say is that, at the core of everything that we do, it really falls on our team. And so for me, the aspect that I'm championing and the part of this, all of this effort that is really my focus is making sure that the teams have what they need, and so that they can have the full capacity and their ability to then pour into the community in the work that they're doing. And so far, knock on wood, I think we've been doing a pretty good job of that. That's not to say we don't have our bumps and bruises, right? None of us are perfect, but at the same time, all the things that we're going after, they're moving in the right direction. And that's just because the team is healthy and vibrant and they have the capacity to do so.
Now, of course, you're right next to the elementary school. I'm talking about maybe some of the events that you might be have going, programs, projects with the school system here.
Yeah, so we partner with the school right across. It's not even across the street; it's right next door. They actually bring their students over during the school day, and they utilize the facility and the spaces. More specifically, they have a maker space in here that we designed in partnership with the school district, since we're on school district property and right next to the school. And so those kids come in and they're into a whole bunch of different activities and programs in that space. And so, that plus the work that we do in going back to school, the holiday events, we're deeply embedded with the school district because, again, as a community center, not only are we serving the families and as a whole, but we also want to serve the kids, the children. So, we have a deep relationship with them.
Okay. And whenever I go, I always see people coming into your health facilities. Mm-hmm. Talk a little bit about that work.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing to be able to provide the community with not only a community recreational space and community gathering space, but also a health clinic. Partnering with Health Point has been, it's kind of like a dream come true in a lot of ways. You get to have these families who didn't necessarily have access to healthcare, and not in an affordable way in a lot of cases, but Health Point with their model, they've provided that opportunity and that access. And so to have families come in here, their kids are in the gym playing basketball or doing homework in the activities lounge, but then their parents get to go across the hall to the health clinic to get, whether it's general medical support, dental support, behavioral health support. Having all of that in one facility is it's a game changer for this community, and really, really grateful for HealthPoint for their continued effort to help us serve the community.
Now, how far is the reach of the Family First Community Center now?
Yeah, so I think the last I checked, we were around 10,000 monthly unique participants. So you can imagine, we get 10,000 folks coming through these hallways every month. It's a lot of people. And, we were affirmed in this the earlier days when we opened up. The kids were out of school, but they were coming in here, and you look out on the basketball court and you'd have 100 kids, playing volleyball. And, just to think, like, where would those kids be if this place wasn't here? And I think all the things that we had envisioned for the space and the experience for the families and for the kids is coming true. And I'm just in awe of the team, but I'm also very grateful for all of our partnerships and for everybody's effort to make this a reality. It's been a beautiful thing.
Now, as you've been doing this work and you get this community center open, is there anything that has happened in this work where you said, I had no idea about this? Going into it, I thought I knew what was needed. I thought I knew what the concerns were, but I discovered this.
That's a great question. I would say that assumes that I went in saying that I knew anything, but the truth of the matter is I didn't. I think we went in with the thought that giving community a space to really call their own, right? There was going to be something magical that happened there. And that has been the case. So I won't say that I've learned or I should say this. There's nothing that I've learned that I was thinking, I was wrong about that.
No.
Genuinely didn't really, I'm new to this. So tried to go in with eyes wide open and ears wide open. But what I will say is that we've been affirmed in the approach that we've taken, whereas, it's not so much about programmatic stuff. It's not so much about the physical space. It's more about the culture and the environment we're setting. And that comes from the people, right? If we invest and we pour into our staff, into the folks, our team who are, pushing this mission forward, then whatever comes of that will be at least in the general direction of the trajectory that we want to go. And that has been the case. I will say some of the learnings along the way is just that spaces like this are vital to community health and well-being. That's been readily apparent. Every corner we turn, we realize that there's more and more that we could be doing and that we want to do, but we are limited in space and resources, right? Just like probably most nonprofits, most organizations. But we don't look at that as a negative. We look at that as, we're making some change in some people's lives, and we've got a long way to go. And this is a journey and not a destination. And, although there are some hills to climb, we're very grateful for those challenges because we know that if we overcome those challenges, it's just, it broadens and deepens the impact of our work.
Great. Talk a little bit about now Vault 89. What's been going on with that?
Yeah, so Vault 89, just for those who don't know, is a business I started back in 2019. It is a for-profit entity, but as I like to say, we roll with a nonprofit soul. I guess the technical term would be that we're a social impact investment firm, but that really doesn't do justice to what we do. And so I'll give you a couple examples of some projects that I'm really excited about.
Yeah.
One of them is we just launched with the city of Seattle in partnership with Safeway and an organization called Feeding Feasible Feasts. And basically, Safeway throws away a lot of food, unfortunately. This is food that is edible, but it has to be eaten that day or within 24 to 36 hours. And so instead of throwing that food away, right, we're able to work with Safeway to build an integrated logistics system where Feeding Feasible Feast will pick up that food and deliver it to organizations across the city of Seattle that will be servicing the community that day, right? So the participants who will be getting that food will be able to consume it within 24 hours. It's a big deal, and it's a lot of food.
How much is a lot?
I don't want people to take this the wrong way. Safeway has been an incredible partner. They're very thoughtful about all of the things they do. While this number does seem like it is a big number, and it is a big number, Safeway is actively trying to find ways to get it to community, right? So it's 2.5 to 3.5 tons of food every week. Yeah. And that's coming from an organization that is very thoughtful and very forward leaning in terms of trying to be proactive in getting resources to community. And so you can imagine just across the gamut of organizations that like Safeway, grocery stores, just the amount of food that could be saved and rescued and get to our community. So, kudos to Safeway and to my homie Sarah over there, Sarah Osborne. She's an incredible human being that's always thoughtful about these types of things. And then Feeding Feasible Feast, Angel Swanson, she's a powerhouse in her own right. So being able to work with them on something like this was a no-brainer for us. And so we as Vault, we manage the data collection on the backside. So we're able to tell the story, the narrative, and then also look at the data to find ways to improve the system and also find ways to potentially leverage the data to impact policy and legislation. So
what made you think of doing something like that?
Man, it's not me, there is one project that I will say that I have a lot of joy and I'll get to that in a second. But for this one particular, Safeway came to us with the problem that they had. And really how I like to articulate what Vault is we're just a problem solving entity. You come to us with a problem, whether you are a for-profit, a nonprofit, a government agency, come to us with a problem and, either we can figure out a way how to solve it ourselves or present solutions to solve it ourselves, or we have the partnerships that can be collaborative and dynamic to figure out solutions to those problems. And that's really where I like to play. I'm a kid at heart. I love playing with Legos when I was a child, and I still love playing with Legos.
Yeah.
So building things and being creative is just in my spirit. And I wanted to use that skill set that God blessed me with to the betterment of my community. So, that's what Vault really is. But then to go back to what I was saying earlier, one of the other projects I'm really joyful about is it's called Tap In. And basically what this is, it's a web-based application where when students walk into school, they're asked 3 questions. How are you doing today? Did you eat this morning? And how was sleep last night? Really surface level questions, but can hit at some depth that is necessary for us to figure out how the health and well-being of our student body is really doing. And so we collect that data in real time, and then we're able to display that to the teachers, the counselors, the administrative staff as a whole, so they can see how their student body is doing in real time. And then from there, obviously, you can make better informed decisions on how to care for your students, whether it's, having students come into class and they're a little antsy because they haven't eaten yet.
Absolutely.
And so maybe not jumping right into the curriculum, maybe kind of warming them up before you get into the curriculum.
Mm-hmm.
Or whether it could be a student who's been, flagged for several days in a row with some challenges where now a therapist can go and or a counselor can go and actually check in on that student and be proactive. And so, that's one. I actually stole that idea from the Seahawks. So when we were playing, we would come into the facility and on the wall would be a tablet, a Microsoft Surface.
Okay.
You would have to answer a few questions just about your work or your soreness level, your work load levels, and also your sleep patterns for the previous night. And basically what they were doing is they're trying to aggregate that data to then determine what the best workload was for you for that week so that they can get you to peak performance on Sunday, right? So very similarly, we're taking that data to see how can we manage the experience for the students and give insight to the staff so that the students have a better experience at school so they can learn and, and, be free to be kids in a lot of ways.
I would have loved to have had something like that when I was in elementary school, and I either didn't have as much as what I wanted to eat, or I had too much sugar, and so I was really active and vibrant. And wow, that's pretty amazing. You got that from the Seahawks. Now, when you had those kind of questions asked of you, what was the response? How did your day change based on what you were giving to the organization about what would make you perform at a peak level?
Yeah. So let's say you come in on a Wednesday after the game, and your soreness level is much higher than it was in previous weeks, right? Mm-hmm. Then you input that information into the platform. That data goes to the entire team, whether it's the training staff, the doctors, the performance enhancing team, and they look at that information, all the information that you give them throughout the course of the week and also the course of the season. And then they can determine, okay, maybe on Wednesday, we lower his workload, right? So we decrease the amount of reps that he's going to see in practice, or, if you're, vice versa, if you're feeling really good and they want you at a certain level of soreness, maybe they increase your workload for that day. But really what it was is just basically giving them a baseline at the beginning so they can determine, what's the best course of action, whether it's, again, increasing reps, spending more time in the training room, designating or specifying specific treatment for an ailment to get you to peak performance on Sunday. So it was really powerful for me. I wish it kind of happened later in my career, and I wish I had it similar to you, what you said. I wish I had it earlier in my career. But when I was looking at that, and honestly, this concept for to be implemented in schools, this came out of my team's desire to do something about school shootings. So the Uvalde shooting that happened in Texas several years ago, our team came back to work after that and was just kind of, we were all impacted. Several of us have kids on the team. And so, just couldn't help but be impacted by that. And so we wanted to figure out a way how to, not necessarily have a solution, because I'm not saying that there is a solution, but, maybe we can be a part of the solution. And so that's what we came up with, and really looking forward to the impact it has on our students.
So you're in so many circles, all the community work that you do, stakeholders and the philanthropic, public, private sectors. Is there one message, one conversation that is threaded through all those circles?
Yeah, it's just a conversation of we're all human beings on this planet, this rock that's spinning around the sun, and I've, for whatever reason, I've had that perspective for a long time, and that's kind of guided the way that I've thought about things and how I've showed up to my work. Don't get me wrong, like I've not always been this way. It's always been kind of just in the back of my mind, but more recently, especially being a husband and a father now, those values and that mission that's in my heart has just come to the surface. And so in everything we do, I try to look at it as like we're just all human beings on this planet trying to survive and thrive. Mm-hmm. And the oxygen that I breathe, to me, that's a gift. You wake up in the morning, you breathe oxygen into your lungs, like that's a miracle within itself that you're breathing oxygen, that we're able to even have this conversation. And if that is truly a gift, I don't want to take that gift lightly, and there's an urgency about me that comes from realizing that gift of oxygen, that gift of time, right? It's so very limited, and I don't want to waste it. And so everything that we do, I want to make sure that it's, I don't want to say done right, but I would say done correctly, in the sense that we're pursuing something that's greater than ourselves.
Doug was featured in a video for United Ways Together campaign. The video subsequently aired at local cinemas just before movie previews and has become one of our most popular offerings. Here's an audio snippet of the video, which you can check out on our YouTube channel.
There's something that connects all of us. Winding between the streets we walk and the air we breathe, it's always there, in new beginnings and in heartfelt endings, in ourselves and among each other. It unites us. It unites us. Bonds us. Bonds us. Makes it so the world we seek,
where no one is without.
And the only hunger left is for dreams. It's love.
Love. Love.
Love.
Love.
Love. It's love.
It's all love. Always has been. And always will be.
Doug talked about the importance of being a part of the video.
I'm gonna take it somewhere real quick, and I just so give me some grace, give me some patience here. Everything I do is centered around my faith. I'm a Christian, and when I say that, I don't mean to offend anybody. When I say I'm a Christian, I mean that I'm a follower of Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ's teachings were to love your neighbor, or he said there's two laws that sum up everything in the Bible: love God with all your heart and love your neighbor as yourself. Those are the two laws that he says that we're called to follow as Christians. Those two laws revolve around love. And then there's a clear definition in love in 1 Corinthians, and it says love is patient, love is kind, love does not brag, it does not boast, it does not rejoice when injustice wins out, it does not demand its own way. That's one of my favorite parts in that scripture is love does not demand its own way. Which tells me it doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, what your skin color is, what your cultural background is, what your sexual orientation is. You are a human being on this planet, and I'm supposed to love you as such. That's what I believe in. And so to be able to articulate that with a partner like United Way, who is genuinely pursuing causes and initiatives that are representative of that love, it made the most sense. And that's a charge that's been on my heart and that I am very focused on. And selfishly, I look at my wife and my daughters, and I want to build a world, or at least an environment around me that's conducive to them knowing and experiencing that love. And so having that partnership with United Way and to be able to articulate that, it's just the first step. And we've got a lot of work to do. And, I'm not one of these people who think that we're going to solve the world's problems. In fact, my faith tells me that this is not our home. So, I don't think of it as like going out there on a mission to then solve the world's problems. But what I do think, and what I mentioned earlier, is that with every breath that I take, it's a gift. And so if that is a gift, then my job is to steward that gift to the best of my ability, which means that the work and the time that I have here on this planet should be to be in betterment of the greater good and the world around me and the environment around me, no matter how long I have on this planet. And so, that video was a representation of that for me.
Doug Baldwin, Family First Community Center and Vault 89, thank you so much for your time.
Of course.
For more information about the Family First Community Center, log on to familyfirstrenton.org. For more information about Vault 89 Ventures, log on to vault89.com. And to learn more about United Way of King County's board members, log on to our website at uwkc.org/about-us/leadership. And now a word from United Way of King County President and CEO Gordon McHenry Jr.
In these increasingly challenging times, it's really important that folks who are part of the United Way community know that we are 100% committed to continuing to do the work we have been doing, the work that is rooted in equity, the work that is aspirational, so that we have a region where everyone thrives. It's important for you to know that we see you, we hear you. We will continue to serve and support if you allow us that privilege. We're going to, I'm pausing there because I'll probably have you edit. Continuing. It's important to know that we are going to increase our proximity to the communities we're privileged to serve. We are going to be a courageous advocate for policies that uplift folks, and we're going to be a courageous advocate against policies and practices that serve to oppress or harm. if you give us the ability to be your partner, we will not let you down. We will stay strong, and we're going to make good progress. Thank you.
It's tax time again, and United Way of King County is offering free tax services to individuals who make less than $80,000 a year, or less than $96,000 for non-single filers. Funded by United Way, the IRS, and the City of Seattle, the free tax preparation campaign runs until Sunday, April 19th. Services are available at more than a dozen locations across King County, including El Centro de la Raza and West Seattle Community Resource Center in Seattle, Hope Link in Shoreline, South Center Mall in Tukwila, and the Public Health Center in Kent. Virtual service is also available through our online tax site. United Way tax preparation specialists will help clients understand their tax situations and take advantage of refunds like the Earned Income Credit, the Child Tax Credit, and the Working Families Tax Credit. Last year, our free tax campaign served more than 12,000 people and leveraged more than $16 million in tax refunds. And we look forward to preparing your taxes this year. For more information, log on to uwkc.org/need-help/tax-help. At United Way of King County, we are working side by side with communities to build an equitable future for everyone. Hourglass United Way is a podcast that highlights how we and our partners spend time making a difference in our communities. Our work is made possible by the generous donations from people like you. Please send comments and suggestions about our podcast to hourglassunitedway@gmail.com. To learn more about our work or to support United Way, log on to uwkc.org. I'm your host, Joe Burris. Thanks for listening. Until next time.